The war had dragged on for years. What began as a series of border skirmishes between the Terran Federation and the Varlock Empire had escalated into a galaxy-wide conflict. The Varlock were ruthless and relentless, conquering system after system, with brutal efficiency. The Federation's fleets, though valiant, were steadily pushed back, their resources dwindling, their allies hesitant or too distant to intervene. By the time the Council of Earth met in the subterranean command chamber beneath the capital city, hope was fading fast. General Aiden stood at the front, his normally sharp eyes shadowed with exhaustion. Reports scrolled across holographic displays behind him. Sectors lost, colonies under siege, civilians displaced. The Federation's forces were fragmented and outmatched. "We've tried everything," Aiden said, voice low but firm. "Diplomacy failed. Reinforcements are too far away or unwilling. Our fleets are outgunned. We're out of options." A heavy silence filled the room. The Federation's leaders exchanged worried glances. The enemy was closing in on Earth itself, and all the traditional allies had either fallen or refused to intervene. Time was running out. Then, as a desperate gambit, a young communications officer stepped forward. "There's one option left," she said quietly. "One species the galaxy fears above all others. We've avoided them for decades, but maybe it's time to call." The room turned to look at her. She continued, "The Vaeltar, the most dangerous species in known space. Their power is unmatched, their tactics ruthless, and their honor code complicated. But if anyone can turn the tide, it's them." The mention of the Vaeltar caused murmurs around the room. The Vaeltar were legends, stories told in hushed tones. They had no interest in galactic politics or alliances, but they were warriors unmatched in skill and ferocity. Few dared to seek their aid, and even fewer lived to tell of the encounters. Still, the Federation was out of choices. After tense debate, it was decided. A delegation would be sent to the Vaeltar homeworld to make the call. Aiden chose Captain Mira to lead the mission, a pilot and diplomat known for her cool head and fierce determination. "Remember," Aiden said as she prepared to depart, "we're asking for a favor that may cost us everything. Make it clear Earth's survival depends on this." The journey to the Vaeltar home system was long and perilous. As Mira's ship entered the dense asteroid belt that shielded the Vaeltar's world, sensors picked up no welcoming signals. The Vaeltar did not send greetings or warnings. They simply waited. Landing was rough. The landscape was harsh, barren plains of obsidian rock, jagged mountains under a red sky. The Vaeltar emerged, tall, muscular beings with obsidian skin and piercing amber eyes. Their armor was crafted from alien alloys that shimmered in the dim light. Their expressions were unreadable but commanding. Mira and her team were led to a great hall carved into the mountain, a place as ancient as the planet itself. There, the Vaeltar High Commander awaited. "You come with words of desperation," the commander said, voice deep and resonant. "Why should we aid a species that has always stood aside from our ways?" Mira met his gaze steadily. "Because if the Varlock succeed, none of us will remain free. We face extinction, and only your strength can prevent it." The High Commander regarded her for a long moment, then nodded. "Your plea is heard, but help from the Vaeltar is never free." Mira nodded. "We understand. Tell us what we must do." The conditions were harsh. The Vaeltar demanded a trial, an ancient ritual to prove humanity's worthiness. It was a challenge of courage, strength, and spirit. Mira accepted without hesitation. The trial was unlike anything she had faced. She was pitted against Vaeltar, warriors in combat simulations that tested her limits. She navigated treacherous terrain, survived extreme environments, and solved ancient puzzles designed to test wisdom and resolve. Each test pushed her beyond what she thought possible. Yet with grit and determination she prevailed. When the trial ended, the Vaeltar High Commander spoke again. "You have proven your worth, human. The Vaeltar will stand with you." True to their word, the Vaeltar warriors joined the Federation's forces with ferocious loyalty. Their ships were unlike any the galaxy had seen, sleek, powerful, and equipped with weapons that could disable entire fleets in moments. On the battlefield, the Vaeltar fought with precision and honor. Their presence reinvigorated the Federation's forces and struck terror into the hearts of the Varlock. In a decisive battle near the Varlock's home system, the combined forces of the Federation and the Vaeltar clashed with the Varlock armada. The Varlock were fierce but unprepared for the relentless and brutal tactics of the Vaeltar. Mira commanded the joint fleet with strategic brilliance. The Vaeltar warriors boarded enemy ships in fierce hand-to-hand combat, turning the tide with their unparalleled combat skills. The Varlock retreated, broken and beaten for the first time in years. As the dust settled, General Aiden addressed the fleets. "We were out of options," he said. "But we placed one last call to the most dangerous species, and they answered. This victory belongs to all who stood against despair." The Vaeltar remained allies, cautious but steadfast. The Federation, humbled and grateful, forged new bonds with the galaxy's most feared warriors. Mira's mission became legend, a story of courage, desperation, and the unyielding will to survive. In the end, the galaxy learned that when all else fails, sometimes the last call can bring the greatest hope.